So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes. The idea is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs and we want you to cover them on a daily basis, but we don't want you to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. Therefore, we will cover the entire day's current affairs within 30 minutes so that you're left with your entire day to cover other parts of UPSC syllabus. Now, just watching this lecture would be job half done because just after watching it, you need to revise it as well. Why, you ask? Well, revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us along with this lecture, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. You just have to click on that link. It'll take you to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download the notes for this lecture and do the necessary revision. Alright, enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the lecture. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. Okay, so today we will be covering these 4 topics. Number 1 is Dare2eraD Tb Initiative. As the name suggests, it is an initiative which aims to eradicate TB from India. Okay, recently some very significant achievement has been made with respect to this initiative. So we'll talk about this initiative. Then we are recently making some advancements with respect to DNA polymorphism or DNA fingerprinting. Okay. Well, DNA fingerprinting or DNA polymorphism is a process through which you identify a person or you identify his identity through DNA. Okay. So we'll talk about this. Then a beach in Andhra Pradesh, Visakhapatnam, has been given back its blue flag certification. Now, water bodies and beaches in India and all over the world are given this blue flag certification, which is the most prestigious certification any beach or water body can have. So what is this blue flag certification? We'll talk about this. And recently, between Japan and China, well, an issue has been coming up recently with respect to Senkaku Islands. Okay, recently Chinese warships actually intruded into this space which is controlled by Japan. So Japan has raised issue with that. So what is this Senkaku Island dispute between Japan and China? We'll talk about this issue as well. All right. So these are the 4 issues that we'll zero in our attention on. Let's start discussing them one by one, starting with topic number 1, which is Dare2eraD Tb Initiative. Now look, TB is a disease which causes respiratory ailments, right? And it can be fatal at times. Now, TB is caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now, India had earlier resolved to eradicate TB from India by 2030, which is also a target given by World Health Organization. Okay, but India basically advanced that target to 2025. Okay, so India earlier had set itself a target of 2030, but it advanced it to 2025. Now the thing is, India could have eradicated TB, okay, completely, but TB bacteria has started to evolve. Earlier, when a patient used to come with TB symptoms, he was given a particular dosage of antibiotics. But recently it was found, not recently, it has been some years, that this bacteria has evolved to become resistant to these drugs. Okay, this bacteria is known as multi-drug resistant TB. And normal antibiotics don't work on them. You need stronger line of drugs. Okay, then when India started treating people with MDR TB, another version of this bacteria evolved, which was extreme drug resistant TB. So TB bacteria has been evolving and most of the drugs are not working on it. Now, to eradicate TB from India completely, we need to have some protocol, some treatment, some research, some data on MDR TB and XDR TB as well. Therefore, in 2022, Government of India, especially Department of Biotechnology, which is under Ministry of Science and Technology, it launched Dare2eraD Tb Initiative in 2022. And the main aim of this initiative is to do data research to generate enough data on different strains of TB bacteria so that we can develop treatments, and we can also develop treatment protocols, how to treat this, how to eradicate it. Now, under this initiative, genome sequencing is also done. Okay, what do you mean by genome sequencing? Well, genes of these bacteria are studied. Okay, so under Dare2eraDD Tb Initiative, genes of these bacteria are studied. And the thing is that recently Government of India made an announcement. In a significant breakthrough in the fight against tuberculosis, India announced the completion of genome sequencing of 10,000 types of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay, and this announcement was made at World TB Day at Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi. Now, when is World TB Day celebrated? Remember this, 24th of March. So, India under Dare2eraDD Tb Initiative basically did genome sequencing of 10,000 strains of this bacteria that causes tuberculosis. Some of these strains cause MDR-TB, some of these strains cause XDR-TB. Now, this genome sequencing will take us a step forward towards eradicating TB completely from India, at least by 2030, as per WHO. Okay. Now, about this Dare2eraDD Tb Initiative. So this program, also known as Data-Driven Research to Eradicate TB, was launched on March 24, 2022, again on World TB Day. It focuses on data-driven research to eradicate TB. Now, one component of this Dare2eraDD Tb was Indian tuberculosis genomic surveillance. Okay, so this was just one component. INTGS is just one component of this Dare2eraDD Tb, and under this INTGS, we are genome sequencing, or we are sequencing the genes of these bacteria. Okay, so under INTGS, government has decided to completely sequence the genes of 32,000 TB bacteria strains. Okay, so out of these 32,000, 10,000 genome sequencing is complete. Okay, now this Indian Tuberculosis Genomic Surveillance Consortium has Department of Biotechnology, Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, and Indian Council of Medical Research. Okay, so this is all you need to know as far as Dare2eraDD TB. Okay, now some other key features of this are, well, you will establish, or government will establish, multi-laboratory network collaboration with sequencing and analysis at top institutes. The entire data that would be generated, okay, for this genome sequencing will be stored at Indian Biological Data Center at Regional Center for Biotechnology, Faridabad, Haryana. Genome data integrated with epidemiological studies means studies that basically study uh, epidemics, okay, disease that spread out. Okay, benefits would be better diagnostic accuracy. You'll be able to diagnose which TB a patient is infected with quickly. Faster resistance profiling, how resistant is that bacteria, so that you can give that patient better drugs. For quick drug resistance prediction, it will reduce the time needed to determine effective treatments, and it will take us closer to eliminating TB completely. Alright, so that's all you need to know as far as Dare2eraDD Tb Initiative. Now let's move on to second news item, which is DNA polymorphism. Now, what is DNA polymorphism? You see, we all living beings have DNA. And DNA gives us our unique identity. Basically, we have different features, different skin color, different many things, right? Our bodies are different. And this entire thing is decided by our DNA, which we inherit from our parents. Now, if we are able to identify this unique DNA that each individual has, then we'll be able to identify through DNA people for various things. For example, you can identify thieves, criminals, you can identify lineage. Okay, paternity tests can be done, that whether a person is the father of a child or not. All these things can be done through DNA polymorphism. Okay, so DNA polymorphism are variations in DNA sequence among individuals. These genetic differences occur at specific locations in DNA, as you know the shape of this DNA, and help differentiate one person from another. So just like government uses Aadhaar number to uniquely identify individual, you can also use DNA identifiers to identify an individual. And that is possible through DNA polymorphism. DNA polymorphism means every person's DNA is different. Okay. Now, using this DNA polymorphism, you can develop DNA fingerprinting. Like we use fingerprints for identification because fingerprints are unique. Similarly, we can use DNA for identification because DNA is also unique, right? So about DNA, you need to know about DNA. So DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, is the genetic material present in almost all cells of human body. Now, human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Okay, that means 23 pairs. That means 46 DNA molecules. Okay, so we inherit 23 from father, 23 from mother, and then we get 46 DNA molecules or 23 pairs of DNA molecules. All right. Now, these chromosomes contains genes which carry instructions like our eye color, height, susceptibility to diseases, and many more things unique about our body. If we can identify this, okay, then we can easily assign unique identity. And that can be used in criminal forensics, paternity tests, and whatnot. Okay. So about more on DNA polymorphism. So DNA polymorphism through STR analysis and PCR analysis enables forensic breakthrough in justice. So for crime solving, you do DNA tests, right? Now you can do DNA tests because of DNA polymorphism. Now you can analyze the DNA of a person to identify that person through two techniques. One is STR analysis called short tandem repeats, and the other is polymerase chain reaction analysis. Just remember the names of these two things. Okay, you don't have to understand them because we'll cover DNA and genetics in our science and technology lectures. So for now, as far as current affairs are concerned, just remember that DNA identification or DNA fingerprinting can be done through two techniques: STR analysis and polymerase chain reaction. Okay, all right. Now let's move forward to third news item, which is blue flag certification. So Rushikonda Beach in Vishakhapatnam has regained its prestigious blue flag certification after temporary withdrawal due to compliance issues. Now the thing is, what is this blue flag certification? Which beaches get? So basically, blue flag certification is a certification, a globally recognized eco label awarded by Foundation for Environmental Education to beaches, marinas, and sustainable boating tourism operators that meet stringent environmental and safety standards. So if your beach or tourism site, okay, water body tourism site, meets stringent environmental standards, safety standards, then you will be given this blue flag certification. And this is the highest certification that a beach can get. Okay, it is awarded by a Denmark based organization called FEE. Okay, and if a beach gets this certification, then it means that this beach is clean, this beach is sustainable, this beach is good, this beach has good tourism practices, so tourists all over the world should go and visit this beach. So this is a very renowned certification that each and every beach wants if it wants to attract tourists. Okay, now more on blue flag certification. So to achieve blue flag certification, beaches, marinas, sustainable boating tourism operators must meet 33 criteria. Okay, these 33 criteria cover 4 focus areas. What are those focus areas? So environmental quality, water should be clean and all these things. Okay, safety for tourists and beach goers. Then environmental education, awareness generation campaigns among the local population to preserve, conserve, and protect the beach. And then sustainable tourism practices. Now, India has 12 beaches that have been given this blue flag certification. Okay, as you can see on this map, Shivrajpur Beach in Gujarat, Ghagla Beach in Diu, Bhagwe Beach in Maharashtra, so on and so forth. Okay, so there are 12 beaches. Remember this fact that there are 12 beaches in India that are globally recognized because they have blue flag certification. All right. So it's a proud thing for India. And India should work towards including more beaches in this blue flag list. Okay. Now, blue flag certification in India, well, FEE basically appoints a national operator in each country. That national operator is responsible for conducting inspections in different beaches, and then they award blue flag certification. Okay, so FEE has a national operator in each country. In India, the national operator is Society for Integrated Coastal Management. Okay, so SICOM basically conducts periodic certifications in all these beach sites. Clear? So remember this. And we'll come to last news item, which is the issue of Senkaku Islands. Okay, as you can see on this map, this is Japan, and this is a series of islands known as Ryoku Island, which are under the control of Japan. But here in this red circle, you'll see a series of islands, and these are uninhabited islands. Okay, they are closer to China, they are closer to Taiwan, okay, and they are closer to Japan also. Now, currently, they are under the control of under Japanese control, basically. Okay, but China thinks and China asserts that these islands are its territory. Okay, and even Taiwan lays claim on these islands. Clear? Now, currently, they are under the control of and administration of Japan, but recently, well, Chinese warships entered this space and stayed there for 92 hours, and Japan is very angry at that. Japan has voiced serious concerns over prolonged incursion by Chinese Coast Guard ships near the disputed Senkaku Island in the East China Sea. This entire region is East China Sea, marking one of the longest intrusions into Japanese territorial waters. Clear? Now remember, these are called Senkaku Island and they are currently under Japanese control. But in China, they are known as Diaoyu Islands, and in Taiwan, they are known as Tiaoyu Islands or Diaoyu Islands. It's very difficult to pronounce Chinese words because if you're not trained in that language. So yeah, so in Japan, it is called Senkaku Islands. Now the location or more information on Senkaku Islands, well, they are located in East China Sea. It is a group of 8, remember this fact, uninhabited islands with a total area of 7 square kilometers. As you can see, series of islands. Known as Diaoyu Islands in China, Dare2 Islands in Taiwan, these islands have been administered by Japan since 1972. The thing is, they were under Japanese control. But in World War II, Japan lost to USA. And after losing against USA, they signed a treaty with USA that is known as Treaty of San Francisco 1951. Under this treaty, they had to lose a lot of their territory. Okay, Senkaku Islands was one such territory that they had to give up. Okay, so under Treaty of San Francisco, Senkaku Islands were under the control of America under US trusteeship. Now, USA maintained this trusteeship on Senkaku Islands until 1971, when in 1971 they decided to hand these islands over or hand these islands back to Japan. So they became a part of US territory, not sovereign territory, but under US trusteeship. But in 1971, they decided to give it back to Japan. And since 1972, Japan has been administering these islands. But because these islands are close to China, plus many oil and gas reserves have been found on these islands. Well, now China has started asserting control over these islands, and that is why these islands have become disputed. Okay, so why are these islands disputed? Surely they are significant. What is their significance? First of all, these islands are close to shipping lanes of communication, shipping lanes. These islands have close proximity to shipping lanes of trade between East Asia and the rest of the world. So whoever has control of these islands would control that portion of shipping lanes. So this is the reason. Then these islands have many resources. For example, these islands have rich fishing grounds and potential oil and gas reserves. Okay. Plus, these islands have geopolitical significance. The islands are also seen as focal point in the broader geopolitical rivalry between China and USA. Why? Because Japan is an ally of USA. Clear? So that is why these islands regularly stay in the news and for China, they are disputed territory. Okay. All right. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well. Because revision will help in consolidating these current affairs. You don't want to forget these current affairs just before your exams. So please do revise these current affairs from our notes. And on that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.